I should have known something was wrong when Talia started taking her calls in the bathroom. But hey, I'm just a paramedic who saves lives for a living. What do I know about the subtle art of marital espionage? Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. The apartment felt different when I walked in that Tuesday evening. My uniform still reeked of disinfectant and desperation from a 12-hour shift, and all I wanted was a cold beer and maybe 5 minutes where nobody was bleeding out in front of me. Instead, I got the performance of a lifetime. He's just a placeholder, Mom. I'm keeping him around until someone better shows up. Someone with real money, not some burnt-out ambulance jockey who thinks saving lives is a career. Talia's voice carried from the kitchen like a knife through butter. She was on speaker, probably painting her nails or doing whatever it is fashion buyers do when they are not busy destroying souls. I stood there in my own doorway, keys still in my hand, listening to my wife of 3 years explain to her mother why I was essentially human furniture. The woman I'd proposed to on a beach in Hawaii, the woman who'd cried when I gave her my grandmother's ring, was discussing me like I was a rental car she was planning to return. Julian's sweet, but he's not going anywhere, she continued, and I could practically hear her shrugging. I need someone who can afford the lifestyle I deserve. Brian understands that. He's got the penthouse, the Tesla, the connections. He's what Julian pretends to be. Brian, real estate's golden boy with the $1 million smile and the personality of a used car commercial. I'd met him at one of Talia's work parties, where he'd spent 20 minutes explaining why his Tesla was basically saving the planet while simultaneously hitting on every woman in a 50-foot radius. My phone buzzed. A text from Sam, my partner at the fire station. Dude, you need to see this. Attached was a grainy photo of Talia and Brian entering what looked like a fancy apartment building. The timestamp showed yesterday, 11:47 p.m. I'd been working a double shift, pulling some kid out of a car wreck while my wife was apparently test driving her upgrade. I walked into the kitchen. Talia spun around, her phone clattering to the counter, her face cycling through surprise, guilt, and finally landing on defiance. Julian, you're home early. Not early enough, apparently. I held up my phone, showing her Sam's photo. Want to explain this, or should I just start packing? Her mother's voice crackled from the speaker. Talia, what's happening? Nothing, Mom. Julian's just being dramatic. Dramatic? I laughed, and it came out sharper than I intended. Talia, you just called me a placeholder on speakerphone. You've been sneaking around with Tesla Boy, and I'm the one being dramatic? She had the audacity to look annoyed. You weren't supposed to hear that. Well, I did. Along with the part about me being a burnt-out ambulance jockey. Real nice touch, by the way. I'll remember that the next time I'm pulling someone's kid out of a burning car. Her mother's voice again. Julian, let's not be rash. Think about your future. I picked up the phone, looking directly at Talia. Oh, I am thinking about my future, Mrs. Morrison. Just not the one that includes your daughter. I ended the call and tossed the phone back to Talia. She caught it, barely, her perfectly manicured hands shaking slightly. Julian, we can work this out. It's not what you think. Really? Because what I think is that my wife has been shopping for my replacement while I've been working 60-hour weeks to pay for her boutique dreams. What I think is that she's been telling her mommy what a disappointment I am while screwing around with Mr. Real Estate. So please, enlighten me. What exactly should I be thinking? She opened her mouth, closed it, then tried a different approach. The waterworks, right on schedule. I never meant for you to find out like this. Find out what, exactly? That my marriage is a sham, or that you think I'm beneath you? You don't understand the pressure I'm under. My family expects... Your family expects you to trade up. I get it. I've always gotten it. The looks at dinner parties, the comments about my noble profession, the way your mother introduces me as Talia's husband, like I don't have a name. I thought you were different. I am different. No, Talia, you're exactly what I should have expected. I just thought love might matter more than your mother's approval rating. My phone buzzed again. This time it was a screenshot of text messages. Sam had somehow gotten his hands on Talia's conversation with Brian. Can't wait to get you out of that dress at the Morrison Gala next week. Julian will be working, right? I showed her the screen. Her face went white. How did you... Does it matter? The point is, it's over. Whatever this was, whatever I thought it was, it's done. I walked to the bedroom and grabbed the small velvet box from my nightstand drawer. The engagement ring I'd been planning to upgrade for our anniversary. The one I'd been making payments on for 6 months. When I came back to the kitchen, Talia was sitting at the counter, crying into her hands. Real tears this time, not the performance kind. Here. I set the box in front of her. Give this back to Brian. I'm sure he can afford something better anyway. Julian, please. We can fix this. Fix what? The fact that you think I'm not good enough? The fact that you've been cheating? Or the fact that you just told your mother I'm a placeholder? She looked up at me, mascara running down her cheeks. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. I love you. No, you don't. You love the idea of having someone safe while you figure out your next move. But I'm not safe anymore, Talia. I'm done. I grabbed my keys and headed for the door. Behind me, I could hear her calling my name, but I didn't turn around. Some things, once broken, can't be fixed. Sam was waiting in his truck outside, engine running. Rough day at the office? He asked as I climbed in. You could say that. So what's the plan? I looked back at our apartment building, at the life I'd thought I was building. I have no idea. But first, I think everyone should know exactly what kind of person they've been supporting. I pulled out my phone and opened the family group chat that Talia's mother had insisted we all join. The one with her parents, her sister Mia, her brother David, and half the Morrison family tree. I attached the screenshots of Talia's conversation with her mother, the photo of her and Brian, and the text messages. Then I typed, "Since Talia was too busy planning her upgrade to tell you herself, I thought you should know that your daughter, sister, niece has been cheating on her placeholder husband. Enjoy the family drama. I'll be at Sam's if anyone wants to apologize for 3 years of treating me like hired help." I hit send and watched as the responses started flooding in immediately. Julian, what is this? Talia, call me right now. How could you do this to him? You're a disgrace to this family. Brian Morrison, really? He's married. My phone started ringing. Talia. I declined the call and turned to Sam. Now what? Now we get drunk and plan your comeback tour. Comeback tour? Sam grinned. Brother, you just went from being the victim to being the hero who exposed the villain. Trust me, this is just the beginning. The next morning hit me like a freight train carrying a hangover and a side of existential crisis. Sam's couch wasn't built for anyone over 6 feet, and my back felt like I'd been wrestling with a particularly vindictive ambulance stretcher all night. My phone had been buzzing nonstop since 6 a.m. 17 missed calls from Talia, 12 from her mother, and about 30 text messages ranging from family members expressing shock to friends asking if I was okay. The Morrison family group chat had exploded into a full-scale war zone. You look like something I'd scrape off the road, Sam said, handing me a cup of coffee that could probably strip paint. Feel worse. I scrolled through the messages, watching my former in-laws tear each other apart. Talia's sister Mia is defending her, says I'm being vindictive. Mia's always been jealous of you. Jealous? Of what? Of the fact that you actually gave a damn about Talia. Mia's been married 3 times and can't figure out why none of them stick. My phone rang. Fire Chief Martinez. Thompson, you okay? Heard some rumors. I'm fine, Chief. Personal stuff. Won't affect the job. Good man. Take today if you need it. But Julian, whatever's going on, handle it clean. You're one of the good ones. Don't let anyone drag you down to their level. After I hung up, Sam was grinning at me like he'd just won the lottery. What's that look for? Check your Facebook. I opened the app and nearly choked on my coffee. The family group chat screenshots had somehow made it to social media. Not from me. I wasn't that stupid, but apparently someone in the Morrison family had shared them, and now they were spreading like wildfire. Look at the comments, Sam said. Team Julian all the way. This guy deserves better. What kind of woman calls her husband a placeholder? Disgusting. I know this guy. He's a paramedic. Saved my neighbor's kid last year. Stand up, dude. Anyone know if Julian is single now? Asking for a friend? This is insane. This is justice, Sam corrected, and it's about to get better. He showed me his phone. A local news station had picked up the story. The headline read, Local hero paramedic exposes cheating wife's cruel comments. Hero? They're calling me a hero for getting cheated on? They're calling you a hero because you are one, every day, and now everyone gets to see the contrast between you saving lives and her destroying them. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Mr. Thompson, this is Jennifer Walsh from Channel 7 News. We'd love to interview you about your story. Many people are calling you an inspiration. Absolutely not. Why not? Because I'm not trying to destroy her life. I just want it out. Sam gave me a look that suggested I might be the dumbest smart person he'd ever met. Julian, she destroyed her own life. You just documented it. And now you get to choose. Be the victim who slinks away quietly, or be the guy who shows everyone that good people don't have to take that kind of treatment. Before I could answer, my phone rang again. This time it was David, Talia's brother. "Julian, man, I'm so sorry. I had no idea she was saying those things about you." "It's not your fault, David." "Actually, it kind of is. We all let Mom treat you like you weren't good enough. I should have said something." David had always been the reasonable one in the Morrison family. He worked as a teacher, drove a 10-year-old Honda, and had never made me feel like I needed to apologize for my paycheck. "I appreciate that, but it's done now." "Is it?" "Because Talia's been calling everyone, trying to control the narrative. She's telling people you hacked her phone, that you're making things up." "Are you kidding me?" "She's claiming the screenshots are fake, says you're having some kind of breakdown." I felt something snap inside my chest. Not heartbreak this time, pure rage. "David, I'm going to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. In the 3 years you've known me, have I ever lied to you? Ever been anything but straight with your family, even when they treated me like garbage?" "No, man. Never." "Then you know these screenshots are real. You know I wouldn't make this up." "I know, and I'm going to make sure everyone else knows too." After I hung up, Sam was watching me with interest. "You're getting angry. Good. Anger is useful." "I don't want to be angry. I want to move on." "You can't move on while she's rewriting history. She's making you the villain in your own story." He was right. While I'd been wallowing in self-pity and hangover regret, Talia had been working damage control, making me look like the unstable ex-husband who couldn't handle rejection. "What do you think I should do?" "I think you should stop playing defense and start playing offense. You've got the truth, you've got public sympathy, and you've got nothing left to lose." My phone buzzed with another news notification. This time it was a gossip blog. Fashion buyer's husband exposes affair. I was just a placeholder. The article included quotes from the screenshots and a photo of me in my paramedic uniform from the fire department's website. They'd also somehow found a photo of Talia and Brian at some charity event, looking very cozy. "They found Brian," I said, showing Sam the article. "Good. Let's see how Mr. Tesla likes being in the spotlight." As if on cue, my phone rang. Unknown number. "Julian, this is Marcus Gold from Gold's Jewelry on 5th Street. You bought an engagement ring from us about 6 months ago?" "Yeah, what about it?" "Well, I've been following your story online, and I wanted you to know. If you want to return that ring, I'll give you full price back. No questions asked. What that woman did to you isn't right." I looked at Sam, who was making frantic say-yes gestures. "That's very generous, Mr. Gold." "More than that. If you want to make a statement, bring the ring in tomorrow afternoon. I've got some customers who've been following your story. Might be good for you to get your side out there." After I hung up, Sam was practically bouncing. "Do you understand what just happened?" "A jeweler offered to buy back my ring." "A jeweler offered to give you a platform. Julian, you're becoming a folk hero. The working-class guy who got screwed over by his social climbing wife. People are rooting for you." "I don't want to be famous for getting cheated on." "Then be famous for how you handled it, with class, with dignity, and with receipts." My phone buzzed again. This time it was a text from Talia. "We need to talk. This has gone too far." I showed Sam the message. "What do you think?" "I think she's scared." "Good. Let her be scared for a while." I typed back. "We talked yesterday. You called me a placeholder, remember? Nothing left to discuss." Her response came immediately. "I never said that. You're making things up because you're hurt." I stared at the message, feeling that rage building again. She was actually going to gaslight me about something I had recorded evidence of. I forwarded her text to the family group chat with a message. "For anyone wondering if Talia is taking responsibility for her actions?" The responses were immediate and brutal. "Talia, we all saw the screenshots. Stop lying. This is embarrassing. Just apologize." "Julian, I'm so sorry. This isn't the daughter I raised." That one was from her father. Sam was reading over my shoulder. "You know what you need to do now?" "What's that?" "You need to go get that ring back, publicly. Show everyone exactly what you think of a woman who calls her husband a placeholder. And then what? Then we see how far this rabbit hole goes. Because I guarantee you, Julian, Talia's got more secrets. And Brian? That guy's got skeletons in his closet the size of his ego." I looked at my phone, at the dozens of messages from people supporting me, at the news articles calling me a hero, at Talia's desperate attempts to rewrite reality. "Okay," I said. "Let's do this. Now you're talking. But first, we need to get you some better clothes. If you're going to be a folk hero, you need to look the part." "What's wrong with my clothes?" Sam gestured at my wrinkled t-shirt and jeans. You're about to take down the woman who called you a placeholder. You need to look like the upgrade she never deserved. Gold's jewelry was packed when Sam and I arrived the next afternoon. Word had somehow gotten out that I'd be there, and what should have been a simple transaction had turned into a minor media circus. Mr. Gold, a distinguished man in his 70s with kind eyes and a mischievous smile, greeted me like I was his long-lost son. "Julian, good to see you, my boy. Ready to make some noise?" "I'm not sure what I'm ready for, to be honest." "You're ready to show that woman what happens when you underestimate a good man." The store was full of customers, but I recognized several faces from the local news and social media. Someone was definitely recording this. "Now," Mr. Gold said loudly enough for everyone to hear, "let's see this ring that wasn't good enough for a woman who calls her husband a placeholder." I pulled out the velvet box and opened it. The diamond caught the light, sparkling like it was putting on a show. I'd saved for 8 months to buy it, working extra shifts and skipping meals. "Beautiful ring," Mr. Gold announced. 2 carats, excellent clarity, platinum setting. A man saved up for this. A man who loved his woman. The crowd murmured appreciatively. I could see phones recording from multiple angles. "And she threw it away for what? A man with a fancier car?" "Something like that," I said, surprised by how steady my voice sounded. "Well, their loss is someone else's gain." He handed me an envelope. "Full refund, as promised." "And Julian?" "Yes, sir?" "Any woman would be lucky to have a man who saves lives for a living. Don't let anyone tell you different." The crowd burst into applause. I felt my face burning, but also something else, pride. For the first time in years, I felt like people saw me as more than just Talia's husband. As we left the store, a young woman with a press badge approached me. "Julian Thompson, I'm Sarah Chen from the City Herald. Could I ask you a few questions?" "I'd rather not." "Just one question. How does it feel to have so many people supporting you?" I looked around at the crowd that had followed us out of the jewelry store. People were holding up their phones, recording, waiting for my response. "It feels like I'm not alone," I said finally. For 3 years, I felt like I wasn't good enough, like I needed to apologize for who I was. It's nice to know that other people don't think saving lives is something to be ashamed of. The crowd cheered again. Sarah Chen smiled and scribbled notes. "One more question. What would you say to your wife if she was watching this?" I thought about it for a moment, looking directly into the nearest camera. "I'd say thank you. Thank you for showing me exactly who you are before I wasted any more years trying to be good enough for someone who was never good enough for me." The video went viral within hours. By the time we got back to Sam's apartment, "During Your Placeholder Husband" was trending on Twitter. The hashtag was full of people sharing their own stories of being undervalued in relationships, and somehow I'd become the unofficial spokesperson for everyone who'd ever been called not good enough. "This is insane," I said, scrolling through hundreds of supportive messages. "This is justice," Sam corrected. "Look at this one." He showed me a tweet from a verified account, a local TV personality. "Just watch the jewelry store video. This is what a real man looks like. Talia Morrison, you played yourself." Team Julian. "Wait, how does she know Talia's last name?" "Because someone did some digging." Sam pulled up another thread. "Look at this." A Twitter user had compiled a complete timeline of Talia and Brian's affair, including photos from various social events where they were clearly together, timestamps showing when I was working while they were out, and even a screenshot of Brian's Instagram story from last week showing him at an expensive restaurant with someone whose hand was visible, complete with Talia's distinctive nail polish. "Someone's been busy," I said. "The internet is a beautiful thing when it's on your side." My phone rang. David again. "Julian, man, you need to see what's happening at Mom's house." "What do you mean?" "There are reporters outside. Mom's losing her mind. She's blaming you for embarrassing the family." "I embarrassed the family? Your sister cheated on me and called me a placeholder." I know, but you know how Mom is. Image is everything. She's talking about suing you for defamation." "For what? Telling the truth?" "That's what I told her. I also told her that if she tries to come after you, I'll personally make sure every news outlet in the city knows about the time she tried to bribe you to break up with Talia." I'd forgotten about that. 2 years ago, Mrs. Morrison had offered me $50,000 to let Talia find someone more suitable. I'd turned her down and never told Talia about it. "You'd do that?" "Julian, you're the best thing that ever happened to my sister, and she threw you away. If Mom wants to play dirty, she's going to find out that some of us actually have consciences." After I hung up, Sam was grinning again. "What now?" "Check Talia's Instagram." I pulled up her profile. She'd posted a long statement about fake news and malicious attacks on her character. The comments section was a war zone. "She's getting destroyed," I said, scrolling through hundreds of angry responses. "Look at the likes on her post versus the comments. 90% of the engagement is negative." He was right. For every supportive comment, there were 20 calling her out for cheating, lying, and treating me badly. "And look at this," Sam said, showing me his phone. "Brian's trying damage control too." Brian had posted a professional headshot with a caption about rumors and misunderstandings and respecting privacy during difficult times. The top comment, with over 500 likes, read, "Respect privacy? You posted Instagram stories of your dates while her husband was working. Take several seats, Tesla boy." Tesla boy? That's what they're calling him now. It's trending too. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "Mr. Thompson, this is Rebecca Martinez from Channel 7. We'd love to have you on our morning show tomorrow to tell your side of the story. We understand Talia Morrison has agreed to appear on Channel 4's evening program. Interested in responding?" I showed the message to Sam. "She's going on TV?" "Apparently. To do what? I have no idea." "I know exactly what she's going to do. She's going to play the victim. Say you're harassing her. That she made a mistake, but you're being vindictive. Classic manipulation." "So what do? You go on that morning show and you tell the truth. Let people see the difference between someone who owns their actions and someone who makes excuses." "I don't know, Sam. This is getting out of hand." "Julian, it was out of hand the moment she decided to cheat on you and call you a placeholder. You didn't start this fight, but you can sure as hell finish it." I looked at my phone, at the hundreds of messages of support, at the news articles calling me a hero, at the social media storm I'd accidentally created. What if I make things worse? Worse for who? For her? Good. She made her choices. What about making things better for you? My phone rang again. This time it was Chief Martinez. "Thompson, I just got off the phone with the mayor's office." My heart sank. Am I in trouble? Trouble? Son, they want to give you a commendation. Apparently, applications for paramedic training are up 300% since your story broke. You've single-handedly made our department look good. I don't understand. People see you as the everyman hero, the guy who saves lives and got screwed over by someone who didn't appreciate it. It's good PR for first responders. After I hung up, Sam was practically vibrating with excitement. "Do you understand what's happening here?" "Not really." "You've accidentally become the face of undervalued working-class heroes. This isn't just about your marriage anymore. This is about everyone who's ever been made to feel like they're not good enough because they don't drive the right car or make the right salary." He was right. The messages I was getting weren't just about my situation. They were from teachers, nurses, firefighters, mechanics, all kinds of people who'd been made to feel small by someone who thought money was more important than character. So what do I do with that? You use it. You go on that TV show tomorrow and you remind everyone that the people who keep this world running deserve better than being called placeholders. I looked at my reflection in Sam's bathroom mirror. For the first time in years, I didn't see Talia's disappointing husband staring back at me. I saw someone who'd been pushed around long enough. "Okay," I said, "let's do this. Now you're talking. But first, we need to prepare. Because if Talia's going on TV to lie about you, we need to make sure you're ready with the truth." The Channel 7 studio was smaller than I'd expected, but the bright lights and cameras still made me feel like I was about to perform surgery on live television. Rebecca Martinez, the morning show host, had been reassuring during our pre-interview, but now that we were live, my palms were sweating. With me today is Julian Thompson, the paramedic whose story has captured the hearts of thousands across social media. Julian, thank you for joining us. Thank you for having me. Let's start with the basics. How are you holding up? I'd practiced this answer with Sam a dozen times, but sitting under the studio lights, it felt different. I'm doing better than I expected, honestly. The support from the community has been overwhelming. I think a lot of people have been in situations where they felt undervalued, and somehow my story resonated with that. You've been called a hero, both for your work as a paramedic and for how you've handled this situation. How does that feel? I don't feel like a hero. I feel like someone who finally stopped accepting less than I deserved. The real heroes are the people who've reached out to share their own stories, who've decided they're worth more than being someone's backup plan. Rebecca leaned forward. Your wife appeared on Channel 4 last night. She claimed that your marriage had been troubled for months, that you'd been distant and angry. How do you respond to that? I'd watched Talia's interview at Sam's apartment, and it had been exactly what Sam predicted, a masterclass in playing the victim while avoiding responsibility. Rebecca, I have 3 years of text messages, emails, and photos that show exactly what our marriage was like. I have documentation of every anniversary, every birthday, every time I worked extra shifts to pay for her business expenses. If I was distant, it was because I was working 60-hour weeks trying to support the lifestyle she demanded. She also suggested that you've been harassing her since the separation, that you've encouraged people to attack her online. This was the moment Sam had prepared me for, the moment where I could either take the high road or fight fire with fire. I posted screenshots of real conversations to my family group chat. That's it. I didn't post anything publicly. I didn't encourage anyone to do anything. The fact that people were outraged by her words, that's on her, not me. If you're embarrassed by what you said, maybe you shouldn't have said it. Fair enough. What's next for you? I'm going back to work. I'm going to keep saving lives and being proud of what I do. And I'm going to remember that I deserve someone who sees my job as heroic, not embarrassing. The interview lasted 15 minutes, but the response was immediate. By the time I left the studio, Real Hero was trending alongside Darn Placeholder Husband. Sam was waiting in the parking lot with coffee and a huge grin. You eliminated it in there. I just told the truth. That's why you eliminated it? Did you see the comments during the live stream? He showed me his phone. Hundreds of people had been commenting in real time, and they were overwhelmingly supportive. This guy is pure class. Talia really messed up. Julian seems like a catch. I'm a nurse, and my ex used to say the same things about my job. Thank you for standing up for healthcare workers. Team Julian all the way. My phone started buzzing with interview requests from 3 more news stations, 2 podcasts, and something called The Real Talk Show that apparently had 1 million subscribers on YouTube. This is getting crazy, I said. This is getting good, Sam corrected. Look at this. He pulled up Talia's Instagram. Her follower count had dropped by thousands overnight, and her latest post, a photo of her at some upscale restaurant with the caption, "Living my best life," was getting ratioed in the comments. She's hemorrhaging followers. And look at the business page for her boutique. Morrison Style, Talia's fashion consultancy, was getting review bombed. 1-star ratings with comments like, "Would never trust someone who treats her husband like garbage," and "Imagine calling a paramedic an embarrassment." I feel bad about that, I said. I never wanted to hurt her business. You didn't hurt her business. Her actions hurt her business. There's a difference. My phone rang. David. Julian, we need to talk. Can you meet me somewhere private? What's wrong? I can't say over the phone, but it's about Talia and Brian. There's something you need to know. An hour later, I was sitting across from David in a quiet corner of a coffee shop downtown. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. I didn't know whether to tell you this, but after everything that's happened, I think you deserve to know. Know what? He pulled out his phone and showed me a series of text messages between him and his sister Mia. Mia's been covering for Talia, but she's also been keeping records. The messages were devastating. Mia had been documenting Talia's affair for months, including details I'd never known about. She's been seeing Brian for almost a year, David said. Since last Christmas. A year? My voice came out strangled. There's more. The night you proposed to upgrade her ring, she was with him. She came home and laughed about it to Mia, said you were so pathetic, trying to buy your way into being good enough. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. That night, I'd been so excited to surprise her. I'd worked 3 double shifts to save up for the ring upgrade, and she'd seemed genuinely happy when I told her about it. Why is Mia telling you this now? Because she feels guilty, and because there's something else. David's expression got even more serious. Brian's married. What? He's been married for 5 years. His wife lives in Chicago, thinks he's here building their real estate empire. Talia knows. She's been helping him cover it up. The room started spinning. Not only had my wife been cheating on me, she'd been helping her lover cheat on his wife. There's more, David continued. Mia has photos, videos. She's been documenting everything because she was planning to tell you herself. But then this whole media thing happened and she got scared. What kind of photos? David showed me his phone again. Photos of Talia and Brian at restaurants, hotels, even at what looked like a couple's retreat in the mountains. The timestamps showed they'd been together dozens of times over the past year, including weekends when Talia had told me she was visiting her college roommate in Portland. Jesus Christ. Julian, I'm so sorry. We all failed you. We knew something was wrong, but we didn't want to get involved in your marriage. Does his wife know? Not yet, but Mia thinks she should. I stared at the photos, feeling a mixture of rage and vindication. All those times, Talia had made me feel crazy for being suspicious. All those times she'd turned it around on me, made me feel like I was being paranoid and controlling. I need these photos. What are you going to do? I'm going to make sure everyone knows exactly who they're really dealing with. David hesitated. Julian, I support you, but be careful. This could get ugly. It's already ugly. The difference is, now everyone gets to see how ugly. When I got back to Sam's apartment, he took one look at my face and knew something had changed. What happened? I showed him everything David had given me, the photos, the text messages, the timeline of lies that stretched back over a year. Holy shit, Sam breathed. She's been playing you this whole time. And she's helping him cheat on his wife. Julian, this changes everything. This isn't just about your marriage anymore. This is about two people who've been living double lives and hurting multiple families. My phone buzzed, a text from Talia. I saw your interview. We really need to talk. This has gone too far. I showed the message to Sam. What do you think she wants? Damage control. She's probably panicking because you came across so well on TV and she looked like she was making excuses. I typed back, You're right. It has gone too far. It went too far when you started cheating a year ago. It went too far when you helped Brian cheat on his wife. It went too far when you called me a placeholder while I was working to pay your bills. Her response was immediate. What are you talking about? You're being crazy. I sent her one of the photos David had given me. Talia and Brian kissing outside a hotel, timestamp showing it was taken 8 months ago. This time, her response took longer. We need to meet. Tonight. Why would I meet with you? Because if you don't, you're going to regret it. I showed the exchange to Sam. That sounds like a threat. It is a threat. The question is, what does she think she can threaten me with? Only one way to find out. But Julian, whatever you do, don't meet her alone, and record everything. I looked at the photos on David's phone again, at the evidence of a year-long deception, at the proof that my entire marriage had been a lie. I'm not meeting with her at all, I said finally. I'm done with private conversations and secret negotiations. If she wants to talk, she can do it publicly. What do you mean? I mean, it's time for everyone to see exactly who Talia Morrison really is. The Morrison Family Gala was the social event of the season, a charity fundraiser for the Children's Hospital that Talia's family hosted every year. It was also, according to the leaked guest list that somehow found its way to social media, supposed to be where Talia would make her triumphant return to society after the scandal. I hadn't planned on going. In fact, I'd been specifically uninvited by Mrs. Morrison herself in a scathing voicemail that questioned my mental stability and vindictive nature. But then David called with an interesting piece of information. Brian's going to be there, he said, and so is his wife. His wife? She flew in from Chicago this morning. Apparently someone sent her all the photos and evidence. She confronted Brian, and he convinced her it was all fake, that you were trying to frame him as part of your breakdown. So she believes him? For now. But she's coming to the gala to show solidarity and prove their marriage is strong. I looked at Sam, who was listening to the call on speaker. He was grinning like Christmas morning. This is perfect, Sam said. It's like the universe is setting up the ultimate confrontation scene. I'm not going to crash their party. You don't have to crash it, David said. I'm inviting you, as my +1. David, your family will disown you. They should have disowned Talia when she started this mess. Julian, you deserve to face your accusers, and Brian's wife deserves to know the truth. 3 hours later, I was standing outside the grand ballroom of the Riverside Hotel, wearing the one good suit I owned and feeling like I was about to walk into a war zone. Sam was beside me in a rented tux, looking like he was having the time of his life. Remember the plan, he said. What plan? We don't have a plan. The plan is to let them hang themselves. You don't have to do anything except tell the truth. The ballroom was packed with the city's social elite, politicians, business owners, society wives, and everyone who considered themselves important enough to attend a Morrison family event. I spotted Talia immediately. She was wearing a stunning red dress and working the room like nothing had happened, accepting air kisses and sympathy hugs from people who clearly saw her as the wronged party. Brian was across the room, looking confident and polished in an expensive tuxedo. Next to him was a petite blonde woman who had to be his wife. She was clinging to his arm and smiling, but her eyes looked strained. There's David, Sam said, nodding toward the bar. David waved us over, looking nervous but determined. I can't believe you actually came. I can't believe I let you talk me into this. Mom's furious. She tried to have security remove you, but I reminded her that this is a charity event and it would look bad to throw out a paramedic who donates to the Children's Hospital. I donate to the Children's Hospital? You do now. David handed me a receipt. I made a $1,000 donation in your name an hour ago. Consider it my apology for 3 years of family dysfunction. Before I could respond, the crowd near the entrance started buzzing. I turned to see what was causing the commotion and froze. Mrs. Morrison was walking directly toward us, her face a mask of controlled fury. "Julian Thompson, you have some nerve showing up here." "Mrs. Morrison, lovely to see you too." "Don't you dare take that tone with me. You've embarrassed this family enough." "I've embarrassed this family. Your daughter cheated on me for a year and called me a placeholder. How exactly did I embarrass anyone?" The conversations around us had stopped. People were turning to watch, phones discreetly appearing to record the confrontation. You aired our private family business to the entire world. I shared screenshots of real conversations. If you're embarrassed by what was said, maybe the problem isn't that I shared it. Talia appeared at her mother's side, looking panicked. "Julian, what are you doing here?" "Supporting charity, same as everyone else." "You need to leave, now." "Actually, I think I'll stay. It's a public event and I paid to be here." Brian had noticed the commotion and was making his way over, his wife trailing behind him looking confused. "Is there a problem here?" Brian asked, all smooth confidence and fake concern. "No problem," I said, "just catching up with old friends." "Julian, I think you should know that your harassment campaign has been noted by my legal team." "Harassment campaign? You mean posting evidence of your affair with my wife?" Brian's wife stepped forward. "Excuse me, what affair?" The ballroom had gone completely silent. Everyone was watching now, phones recording openly. "There's no affair, honey," Brian said quickly. "This is the man I told you about, the one who's been making false accusations." I pulled out my phone and opened the photo gallery David had sent me. "False accusations?" I held up the phone, showing the screen to Brian's wife. "Is this false?" She looked at the photo. Brian and Talia kissing outside a hotel, and her face went white. "That's fake," Brian said desperately. "He's obviously manipulated those photos." "Really?" I swiped to the next photo. "How about this one?" This photo showed Brian and Talia at a restaurant, holding hands across the table. The timestamp was clearly visible. Or this one. The next photo was from what looked like a weekend getaway, both of them in casual clothes, his arm around her waist. Brian's wife was staring at the photos, her hand covering her mouth. "Sarah, don't listen to him. He's obviously—" "Shut up, Brian." Her voice was quiet. "Just shut up." She looked at me. "How long?" "According to the evidence I have, almost a year." Talia finally spoke up. "Julian, you're making this worse for everyone." "I'm making this worse? Sarah deserves to know that her husband has been lying to her for a year, just like I deserve to know that my wife thought I was a placeholder." "What's a placeholder?" Sarah asked. I looked directly at Talia. "Why don't you tell her? Tell her what you told your mother about me." Talia's face was red now, tears starting to form. "Julian, please." "Tell her how you called me a burnt-out ambulance jockey who was just keeping your bed warm until someone better came along." The crowd gasped audibly. Several people were now openly recording video. Sarah turned to Brian. "Is that true?" "Sarah, let's not do this here." "Is that what she said about her husband?" Brian looked around desperately, realizing that half of the city's social elite were watching him squirm. "We should discuss this privately." "We should have discussed this privately a year ago, before you started screwing around with someone else's wife." The ballroom erupted in whispers and gasps. Mrs. Morrison looked like she was about to faint. "This is a charity event," she announced loudly. "This is inappropriate." "You're right," I said. "It is inappropriate. It's inappropriate that your daughter spent a year lying to me while I worked extra shifts to pay for her lifestyle. It's inappropriate that she helped a married man lie to his wife. It's inappropriate that she called a paramedic an embarrassment while taking his money." I turned to address the crowd, many of whom I recognized from the news coverage of my story. "I came here tonight because I wanted to look the people who've been calling me crazy in the eye and tell them the truth. For a year, I thought I was losing my mind. I thought I was paranoid, jealous, controlling. Turns out I was just married to someone who was really good at lying." The crowd was completely silent now, hanging on every word. "I save lives for a living. I pull people out of burning cars and bring them back from heart attacks. I work holidays and weekends and nights because that's what the job requires. And for 3 years, I let someone make me feel like that wasn't good enough." I looked directly at Talia, who was crying openly now. "But it is good enough. It's more than good enough, and I'm done apologizing for being exactly who I've always been." The crowd burst into applause. Actual applause in the middle of what was supposed to be Talia's redemption event. Sarah had been staring at Brian throughout my speech. Now she pulled off her wedding ring and threw it at his feet. "We're done," she said simply. Then she turned to me. "Thank you for telling me the truth." She walked away, leaving Brian standing there looking like his world had just collapsed. Mrs. Morrison was staring at me with pure hatred. "You've ruined everything." "No, ma'am. Your daughter ruined everything. I just made sure everyone knew about it." I turned to leave, but Talia grabbed my arm. "Julian, wait. Please. We can fix this." I looked down at her hand on my arm, then back at her face. "Fix what, exactly? The fact that you never loved me? The fact that you spent a year lying to my face? The fact that you called me a placeholder while I was working to support your dreams?" "I never meant—" "Yes, you did. You meant every word. The only thing you didn't mean to do was get caught." I gently removed her hand from my arm. "Goodbye, Talia. I hope Brian was worth it." As Sam and I walked toward the exit, the crowd parted like we were royalty. People were clapping, taking photos, and calling out words of support. "Julian, you're a hero." "Team Julian all the way. That woman never deserved you." Outside the hotel, Sam was practically vibrating with excitement. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. I can't believe I just did that. I can't believe how perfectly it worked out. Brian's wife finding out in front of everyone, Talia crying in front of the whole social scene, Mrs. Morrison looking like she swallowed a lemon. It was perfect. My phone was already buzzing with notifications. The videos from inside the ballroom were being shared across every social media platform, and the hashtags Adar, Julian, at the gala, and Avar placeholder revenge were trending. "Look at this," Sam said, showing me his phone. "Channel 7 wants to interview you again. So does that podcast with 1 million subscribers? I think I'm done with interviews." "Are you kidding? This is just the beginning. You just became the patron saint of everyone who's ever been undervalued." I looked back at the hotel, where through the windows I could see the party continuing, though with considerably more drama than Mrs. Morrison had planned. "You know what the best part is?" I said. "What's that?" "I don't have to pretend to be someone I'm not anymore. I don't have to apologize for my job or my salary or my background. I'm exactly who I've always been, and that's enough." More than enough. My phone buzzed with a text from Chief Martinez. "Saw the videos. The mayor wants to give you a key to the city. Also, we're getting 50 applications a day from people who want to be paramedics like you. Well done, Thompson." I showed the message to Sam. "Key to the city? Julian, you're officially a folk hero." "I'm just a guy who got tired of being treated badly." "No, you're a guy who showed everyone else that they don't have to accept being treated badly either." As we drove away from the hotel, I felt something I hadn't experienced in years. Complete peace. Not happiness exactly, but the deep satisfaction of knowing that I'd stood up for myself and won. Behind us, the Morrison family gala continued, but it would forever be remembered as the night Talia Morrison's lies caught up with her, and the night a paramedic named Julian Thompson reminded everyone that heroes don't always wear capes. Sometimes they just refuse to be anyone's placeholder.